5 minutes past 5. Everybody got a chance to read the minutes?
Yep.
Anybody got any changes?
Then I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we signed this thing, but
Mhm.
what the hell's the rest of this?
We sign the
No
warrants.
That's a notary.
No,
I can do
payments.
that.
Alright.
Unless they need these. I'll look at it
That's it for new business, huh? That was easy.
Didn't understand it.
after. These just a little bit.
So, what do you got under old business for stations 1, 2, 3, and 4?
So I haven't heard anything out of them yet,
No?
so whatever they're doing, let me make sure first, replacement well, contract plan, new test, proposal submitted by town, not. So your contract approved by town, that's all I've got.
Because they haven't contacted you to ask for any information or anything yet on the,
No.
because I think that was like the part of their first step was supposed to
Yeah,
have
I had
that
sent off information on Manley Street, I had sampled the well so that they knew how much iron and manganese
Okay.
was in it. So they have that, I think the next thing I'll prepare, I think they wanna know how much chemicals we use. So I'll do that and how much we produce out of the station, I'll send that to them. I'll have it ready for when they ask. That wouldn't take long, it's in the skater anyway.
Do we know what the new well's producing, Wayne?
I haven't, so the last I know, they asked for the curves for when the wells were rebuilt, and that's the last information I've heard out of them.
They asked for,
For the old wells, so I have them on a rotating basis, I have them rehabilitated, so they asked for the curves, which I didn't have, Peter didn't send me.
no, but the new one, do we know what the new one's producing?
No, I haven't heard yet.
They must have,
They have the
Yeah,
data,
okay.
I can ask, I'll ask.
I'm curious how it came out. We were aiming for like 500 gallons a minute, right? We're hoping for,
Yeah,
I think they'll be closer to 3 if they're lucky.
Really?
Because it keeps tightening up all the time.
I mean, it's
and that was
completely,
the issue with the existing wells, we were, because it's, the pump is dead on, so when it comes on, bam, it's full on and it was drawing down too close. You know, we were running 3 feet above the well.
but they usually start out around 500 when they're new, right?
If they're bigger, yeah, but that
Yeah.
one wasn't, I believe that was a,
All these are out here are
20 horse.
probably 300 gallon a minute wells.
yeah, they're
Even
not,
when they were new?
Yeah.
yeah.
But the ones over down back here, those are all 3 of,
Yeah, we get more out of
Norman
4.
Avenue is 500.
Right.
Like, the total combined of the 2 wells, 4 and 5, we're replacing 5, was about 500 gallons a minute. We're running well 4, and we're getting about 400 gallons a minute, so well 5 was only good for about 100 gallons a minute. I think it had a 20 horse pump in it.
Yeah, when we built it, it was supposed to be 300 gallons a minute or 350. And they had a great big pump coming in for it. Then they weren't getting that kind of water. They packed the well when they built it, so it was only good for like 100, 150 gallons per minute. They wanted to throttle that great big pump back. And I told them, we're not gonna throttle that back for the next 15 years and pay the
Do it all the way
electric bill
off.
on that.
Electricity.
So I said, better get another pump that's gonna handle the well the right way. So they did, but it never produced that good. It'd be interested to see when they replaced the well, if the new well went in and it was better,
You've got more water through it anyway, yeah.
if it's back to where it should be, like 300 gallons a minute. But these wells out here, the bedrock's at 30 feet, 33 feet. The bedrock at the next one down was a little bit deeper. Hot was 38, I think. When you get over to Norman Avenue, bedrock is down, and it's a bonier gravel, and it's down to 58 feet.
So you're not pulling down anywhere near as close to the top of the well as you would be.
Right, there's more water there's more water over at Norman Avenue.
Yeah,
It's-
it doesn't draw down.
And it doesn't draw down as far because it's a course of gravel over there at the lower layers.
Bigger
So
hole.
the screen is much bigger.
Yeah,
The water years ago got better quality as we came this way, but we got less water. That's why we built more wells. And, instead of having one well, we put one well over here for 300 gallons a minute, another well up back further, 1,000 feet away for 300 gallons a minute. That way there, we figured we'd in. What happened was you had 600 gallons a minute, but when they fed into the same pipe, it dropped to 5. So we were getting 500 gallons a minute on those 2 wells. But the other problem there was there's only, say the water table normally sitting is 10 feet, your bedrock's at 30, you've only got 20 feet of water that you're playing with.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful when the water table starts to drop, that you're not creating whirlpools and sucking air in and causing turbulence,
Yeah,
cavitate the.
well, be a mess.
eating up the impellers. So, that's, it would be nice if we could get 300 gallons a minute out here. Depends how good they did drilling it and what the materials look like down deep.
Well, I know there's a cell phone down outside the casing.
So, update on the new water source, you don't have anything on that?
No, because I think they cabled that one.
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting with them too. We
Yeah.
kinda
Well, they wanted,
prioritize the others.
right,
That's just on the list here, I just wanna make sure there was nothing that somebody wanted to bring up. The asset management, grant, that thing that you sent through the email,
yeah,
the asset management and all the projects, how did they come up with all those
So
water
that-
main replacements?
they went in by year, mostly by year, and then they looked at areas where it would be confined. If you lost a big chunk of it, you'd harm a big portion of the town. We wouldn't be able to get water back to them for a few days if we had to replace it.
So constricted areas.
Yeah, like where Scotland Street is going in, the 40B, that's a constricted area, because it's South Elm is the only feed, except for Lincoln. Lincoln comes down, but it's a very small feed into it.
Some of the stuff that they had in there was very different from our original plans.
Right.
Like the one on Matfield Street, there already is a 12-inch main that goes down Norman Avenue, and it goes left and right,
Yeah,
and it goes to the senior center.
right,
It goes right there in front of Frank Lynch's house, and it stops. But and then on the other side of the road, there's a cast iron main that goes down, I think that's 6.
right.
And we always had plans to put a 12 the rest of the way down to get it down to North Main Street and tie it back into the other 12 that's over by the old Bob and Ken's over there. But we got the 12 down as far as the senior center because that gave them really good fire protection there.
Yeah,
That 12 also goes up East Street. There was another one I was noticing, I think it was North Elm Street and Belmont, this Matfield Street going down to Belmont Street. Those mains are old,
yeah,
but they never leak.
right.
They,
Yeah,
you know,
the only place.
I wouldn't, with all the projects that we have, I wouldn't spend $1 million replacing a water main just because it's old. It never leaks. We have service leaks, but we don't have water main leaks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
fix the
wrote-
ones that are leaking, like South Main Street.
Yeah,
yeah, South Main.
Yeah, exactly. South Main Street is a priority. There's a 12 there that never got finished going down toward the Bridgewater line. That's a huge project. I'd much rather put the money into that one because that one, the water main's falling apart.
What was
But I mean,
that? What
that
size
list,
is that?
we're not tied to anything in that
No.
list as far as scheduling
Right.
or something, that just kinda gives a list of things that should be
Yeah, I know,
done,
they
and
were,
they prioritize by age, but if we look at it and say, well, we disagree with the order, we can do whatever we want as far as.
Some
that,
night we
if
should.
have money.
some night we should go over the list ourselves and, look at ourselves, like prioritize South Main Street, just like Tom said. South Main Street has been a disaster for years. The bolts are all rotted off, there's nothing holding the main together. That one,
Yeah, I think
That
What
was-
size is it? It's all short sections of pipe too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
6 foot, they're only 6
Yeah.
feet long, and they're
Yeah.
machined, and there's no gaskets. They're just machine fittings
Right.
with 2 bolts.
What size is it? Is it six?
I believe it's 6, yeah,
Six, yeah.
and it's 2 bolts, I think they're 8 feet long, cause we had to measure once,
Yeah,
cause we
they're
were
short.
trying to find the stupid coupling, so we didn't hit them.
Yeah, they're real
Is
short.
that the only one we have in
I
town
think the
like that?
same thing
Yeah.
exists on Walnut Street, past the tank. I
They
think
said
that's
they-
universal
Towards
pipe.
Brock.
Somebody told me they
Yeah.
built that, they made that, the water main there during World War II. And that's when had a shortage of steel.
Yeah.
And they were putting all kinds of scrap metal together, and water mains was a hard thing to get during the war. But they put ball bearings and everything in there, and the ball bearings didn't melt. So they said that there's like whole ball bearings in the steel, which
Yeah.
makes it it's a bad piece of steel. I don't know, I'm just amazed that gasket, the machine fitting with a bell and a spigot, they go together and they don't leak.
Over time, I would think they corrode good and tight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it
some of them
depends on
like,
how much face you get the 2 pieces, if it's machined tight enough and you got a long enough stretch though, the corrosion would probably be at either end, you'd still have some space to
yeah.
seal it,
The
but.
problem is it's bedded under like 2 feet of clay, so when a leak appears, it doesn't come up where
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
It runs almost, it can run almost a mile down the road. We've chased the leak, it took us almost 3 years to finally find it and cut it off. It was coming up by your shop, by the Autobahn, we kept tracking it backwards.
So, that main there, we should prioritize, I think they had that in there, but there's a 12-inch, almost up to where Tommy is now.
Yeah, on the other
On
side.
the other side, on that same side,
Yeah, on his
he
side,
yeah,
yeah,
it switched over.
right.
It came up the other side, and then it switched over, and they were gonna go up because there was nothing years ago on that side
Right.
that, they could lay that main really easy up there. So, I don't know, we should just go over that list. I was reading it over and I was like, I don't think that one is such a priority.
I just got it out that there was a miscommunication when I was sent the email. It was sent on a Friday and it said it had to be back by Friday, and I was out that Friday, so then I knew I was meeting with Michelle, so when I met with her, she said, well, I need these by, and I'm like, all right, I can meet that date. Then I heard from the one who sent the email, so I sent it out to all parties involved.
You wanna to do that, so we don't just forget it and let it slide, you wanna looking at those water mains on the next next meeting's agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
So just have that added, and that way, between now and then, we can all look over what Wayne sent, and we can,
I think that's,
so that we'll be able to actually talk about it and make sense.
Yeah,
We
that'll
can-
get done.
kind of prioritize it for ourselves, what we think are
Yeah.
most important on those projects.
Did we hear back from this, we had sent the request in, right, for the money for it?
Right, so Catherine Howard has applied for the PFAS funds for Manly. Then this last go round was a different set of monies, I think.
But didn't we just have something go in for the asset management?
Plus,
plan?
we also got
yeah,
a couple
but that's-
2-inch
so
mains
Rick
still
just
around
signed-
around
Oh,
town.
that's the letter he signed.
Yeah,
Old
and I
steel
didn't
ones?
understand, but
Yeah.
Terry understood the back page.
Yeah, that's the stuff that should be
what's needed there.
prioritized.
Yep.
And then I'll send that back in. But I questioned that because the project's not complete, so it says project completed, but we haven't gotten the rate study information out of it, so I'll reach out to Tatter and Howard and say, you know, this thing says it's complete, but it's not complete.
Okay, well, make sure you do that.
But I think that telling them it's complete is releasing the money back to us. So on the other hand, I don't wanna cut short any money coming back to us.
Yeah, I'll do that. So how about the main office generator? Did that get fixed yet?
So they were in today, they replaced the speed governor on it, it's up and running, it's back in the auto position.
It doesn't run?
No, it's back up and running.
Oh, it's up.
Yeah, it's in the auto position now.
It's functioning properly now?
Yep,
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
Keep
good.
that guy's
It
number.
took long enough,
Um,
once you found the right guy.
yeah.
That's all it is, find the right tech.
Yeah.
Right, you know, like, I truly, what the other company did, I didn't think the thing would ever run again. And this guy, he's like, oh, this is an antique, and he's talking about the PLCs on the new ones and stuff, and I'm like, alright. But he's like, this is, and, 4 hours he had troubleshot it and figured out what the problem was, and then it was, once he got it running and got the distributor working properly, then he realized the speed governor had to be replaced, which the other company was trying to do, but they never got that far.
So no more problems with that. If it needs to run, it'll run.
Right, yep.
How often is it cycled? Once a week?
Yeah,
Is it cycling?
yeah. Well, this will be the first time, it's back in auto today, so I believe it's gonna cycle tomorrow morning.
On
On Tuesday,
Tuesday mornings?
Yeah, so I'll hear it tomorrow morning.
Good.
You hopefully. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Walnut Street tank?
Well, we have the hydrant in, I mean, I can back flush it and fill it and sample it, but if I, where it's not used, or it's not being utilized properly, I can fail, and then I start getting hit with level 1, level 2. I can ask the DEP what happens, we're working on this issue, but it's a funding issue, so we can't fix it correctly. If I keep getting hit with these, if they keep escalating up between level 1, level 2, level 3, what's that gonna do to me? Where it's the same problem, it's just,
Alright, I'll find out, maybe we'll have to leave it offline till we
Can you get a sample and see what's, even with it offline or now?
oh yeah, I take, cause Randy's
Take a
gonna-
look and see what we've got in
Yeah,
there.
well, I'd have to flush it out and then put some water in it, cause it's down, I believe around 80% right now.
Oh, it's at 80, that tank's at 80%?
Yeah, I think it's at 80.
And when it's offline, is it?
Yeah, it can't come online until it's sampled.
Now that hydrant, explain that, that was to help drain it?
Yeah, well, in the original plans, there was supposed to be a hydrant there. So I don't know, maybe because it was the end of the line, you could originally drain it off through the hydrant that's in front of it, but when the water main got extended for probably Molly and the farm, it changed the dynamics and you couldn't do that anymore. So that left us with nothing. And so that's, all we did was what was originally on the plan. And we put it right by their drain system, so there's a place to send it and drain it now.
Without wiping out someone's yard.
Right, well, you couldn't get to that anymore because now it's across the road.
Yeah.
So,
well, that drain right there never worked. That was our problem. The hydrant that we could use
right,
used to get out of the manhole, and
yeah,
the manhole, the drain, the pipe didn't go anywhere.
yeah, because I think that house got
It was
built and
covered
crushed
over.
it.
So that was a problem. It was a make-believe drain.
Yeah,
Well, I think it got.
unfortunately, it went right into that guy's house.
Oh,
He had it was a unique dual system, there was high volume sump pumps. It was kind of unique. And I believe the new owner ripped it all out. I don't think he understood what it was there for.
as long as we don't cause them to find out why it was there.
Right.
Yeah, we're not
That's
gonna
fine.
cause them, that's for sure. I won't go near that drain again.
I don't understand how they could put a drain in, put a pipe in, and not keep it open.
I think,
It might have gotten crushed.
no, I think the neighbors across the
The
street
neighbor-
compromised
They
it.
filled it in.
Yeah,
They did something, yeah.
They filled
yeah,
it
they
in.
built that new
They
house.
definitely did. There was there was a pipe that came out there years ago, I remember seeing it. And then there was a ditch that went down to the wetlands.
Oh, and they just filled all that.
Oh yeah, they took all their leaf clippings and any dirt that they ever had, they just kept adding to it, They ended up, you know, with a pile from here to there. And unless somebody goes in there with a backhoe or something and opens it up, you're not gonna find the pipe. So you put the water in at the catch basin, it goes down the pipe, it doesn't go anywhere, it just goes up till then it goes into the guy's house. And then they blame us.
Not anymore, we got a shiny new hydrant to use.
Yeah.
Nowhere near it.
I don't understand the why the town just can't go in there and make the drain, it's a drain, it's supposed to work.
Yeah, if it goes on to somebody's lot though, if that was done years ago, if they don't have an easement,
Right.
there's no actual
Easement's
drainage
the big thing.
easement, you can't just go in there and
Well, that's-
open that up and do anything.
Right, and they're really hamstrung, there's no place for them to add anything, so when you're, like, there's something happening down on Matfield Street, but in order to drain that across the road, you've gotta go through somebody's
But the-
property now.
but
Yeah,
the
man, that
roads-
wasn't up one of our pipes, right?
No,
That
no,
was the
and-
first thing I thought of when I drove by that
Yeah,
pump.
So why is that flooding so bad now? I've never seen it flood that bad.
And Sean said it flooded once before, a long time ago, but me and Andrew walked in, trust me, it wasn't easy, but we walked in behind it, and there's a culvert that comes under the railroad tracks, and it was flowing enough for what you see it coming across the road. So I don't know what's on the other side, but it's saturated in there right now.
I don't
And
remember,
you-
I've seen, well,
It stays pretty wet, I
Worse
guess, 'cause
flood
like,
conditions
there are
than that,
bullfrogs and stuff in there,
Yeah.
it's not
I know
new.
that's a wet area, but I've never
Right.
seen it flood
Plus,
that
I've never
bad.
seen that road
Yeah.
like that, we used to go by there all the time, so my kids
Yeah, I
used
don't
to
know,
ride down at
but we're
that park.
not, trust me,
So,
I can tell by water production that we're, if the sun doesn't begin to shine pretty soon, besides my vegetable garden dying, we're gonna have income problem, or revenue problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
I
see
was
it.
already
We went-
thinking about
like,
that.
We went into June, like a good part of June, and we were doing really well. After that, it went downhill.
well, we've already gotten all of July's rain,
Yeah.
and we got 11 more days to go.
Yeah,
All of July, I've got more than all of July.
Yeah.
All of
yeah,
June.
for a new record. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
so this week it looks like it's getting better, cause we're gonna go after the first tap on Matfield Woods, Wednesday, Thursday, so.
Want to put the new meter in?
Yeah, well, it'll be the first tap. We need to cut in 2 taps, so we're gonna separate them apart. So we'll do this one, cause we have to shut the park off each time we do it. And this tap, it's the front by the street, the pipe's right about 5 feet. The next one, it must dive greatly, cause it's about 8 feet down when we do the next tap.
Oh.
And that's in that roadway.
That's, C900, isn't it?
Yeah, no, cast iron.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
so they had that luxury.
I think it changes over to C900 in there somewhere.
Yeah, I can't, I mean, the print shows cast iron, so I don't know what's actually in there. We'll know once we cut into it and do our first tap. I mean, we'll be running ductile for our piece of it, cause that's what the spec is now.
I think around the tank it was cast iron. We couldn't use plastic going into the tank.
Yeah.
I thought it was plastic outside, like 10 feet outside that tank.
Yeah, I don't,
You might be surprised when you get.
Yeah, if you're going go through a couple of different bends and tie it up, hook it up to the meter, you don't want to go, you're better off with all ductile anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
it won't be bad, cause once we're off the road, it's just us and it's not, and it's basically almost all off-road, so. We'll be able to get it, once it's just doing the taps, I mean, it literally hasn't stopped raining, we haven't gotten days together enough to do it.
You know what the water's like if you start digging down there, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of water in the trench.
Well, I know that pit's always full.
It's always full.
Yeah, so-
They'll be pumping.
So the first one by the street will be okay, it's once we go into the park and do the tap on the other side of the existing.
You get down 8 feet, you're gonna
Yeah, we'll be in the
pumping
water
water
table,
continuously.
so. Yeah,
Definitely. You better bring your shoring with you.
yeah, no, we're gonna use the
Yeah.
shoring on that one, cause it's in the roadway and I I'm hoping to plate it and come back, you know, prep it one day and then come back the next day for the shutdown and cut it in.
Usually this time of year, it's nice and dry. A lot of tables down and nothing's collapsing.
Not this year.
Not that, no, not happening.
I know. The other thing here is the vacant principal clerk's position.
So I have to, I met with the town manager since our last meeting, and I have to admit to handling the clerk's position very poorly, and I'm gonna recuse myself in a minute. I don't believe any vote was taken, so nothing has to be rescinded, so it's just you're basically starting over again without me being present. I had some difficulties, so things got away from me. I don't think I spoke badly to anybody on the camera, and if I did, I apologize. So at this point, it's the first time I'm ever gonna leave early, but I recuse myself so that there's no conflicts of interest. But basically, all the employees are my friends, so I didn't see it as it was. And so,
As far as I'm concerned, bringing it up and just us discussing it the way we did really isn't a problem. If we had gone further, that's another thing. But I think, and I don't recall you saying anything particular
right,
that would have been offensive to anybody, but
yep,
I suppose.
alright.
I don't have any problem with it either.
No, I have to leave. You can't discuss it
Yep.
any further.
Okay, don't go too far.
I'm trying to go home.
So what, from what I read, they chewed them out for what was said here or something.
Well, I had gotten a phone call, I won't say which selectman, complaining about a potential conflict of interest. And again, I don't think the way it was brought up and everything else was a problem because everything was done in public and at the public meeting, and we didn't do anything about it. We discussed the possibility that makes a lot of sense, although it might not be doable given the different things about a partial union position. All the other things trying to make that work might make it not necessarily able to be done, but there's no issues, as far as I'm concerned, talking about it the way we did that first time. I think that was, and if it was a private business, it'd be a good idea. You just say, fine, we'll do it. But we got a union clerk's position where a bunch of the duties we'd want being done aren't really part of that job description. So you've got problems potentially with that.
But she's good at it, for what Kerry said. She'd be good at what that job calls for, so.
Oh, no doubt.
So I don't have any problem with it. I don't care who she is, who she's related to or anything else. If she's good for the town in that position, that's what I'm looking at. That doesn't. How about you, Tom?
I like qualified people that can do the job, let me just say that. I don't like too much intertwining with relationships and work, because if something goes south, it can be bad. I talked to David today just to see what we should be doing here, because I was unsure. He suggested we have a meeting with the selectmen in closed session and discuss what the opportunity, what the options are, what we can do. They know she's a good employee and they want to try to keep her and see what works out best.
Yeah, we've got a problem there with the, getting the GIS work done.
And I think that's the biggest issue, is because the title that would fall under, she worked here, would be the principal clerk, and that doesn't include anything for like IT, regulatory, the stuff that she's good at. So I think that's what the issue would potentially be, because I think what
I was looking at is she's good at the GIS and she's also good at what that, principal clerk's position
So I think what would happen is
person has
they
to
would
do,
have to
so
either,
we got the best of two worlds here.
right, but the principal clerk, none of that other stuff falls under it, and none of that other stuff falls under any of the union titles. So
Yeah.
you would either have
So-
to open up.
So now we got a person that's more qualified than what they should be, and they know more than they should, so we can't hire them. We gotta hire somebody that is only as smart as the,
It was my impression that they wanna make it work, that this, according to David, that the selectmen know and wanna try to make something work with it.
Well, if they want to set it up so we have a meeting with them to try to figure it out.
They would,
Because you gotta figure if we do that with her, then that takes her away from the GIS she's doing for the other part
Exactly.
from their side as well. So there's gonna be some push-pull there.
Unless they open up the contract, the secretary's contract, and create a different title that would combine the two, is what I was told, you know?
Another way.
you could have one position that combines the two.
yeah.
Right,
But they'd have to do that for the contract, for the whole
Correct.
contract set for the town.
yes,
We couldn't just do something like that
right,
here.
They could ask the union for a meeting to, discuss opening another position. You could always do that. Then the union could say whether they're open to opening the contract. And if you're gonna create another position, I don't know why they wouldn't be, because it means another job, another
Well,
more.
as far as the union side, sure.
Yeah, the union side,
I don't know
I
why
would think
they'd
they'd
be
be in
against it.
favor of it. And there's no reason why the selectmen shouldn't be in favor of it, because it's good for the town.
and the selectmen, they do all the, contracts, so they're in charge.
I know.
So maybe it would be,
So they
that would be
should-
the start to have a meeting with them,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, so we just start, we'll have a meeting with them and see what we can work
Seems
out.
like everybody agrees she's highly qualified and the town needs her, so it's just a case of figuring out
Yeah.
how
If we
to
can do it in
how
a
to fit her
way,
into a position.
and if we can do it in a way that we do, have her do the GIS, have her, if she can do part of the other job, the assistant clerk type things, then spend the day or some other time associated with the other groups doing their GIS, and then, have a reimbursement the way we pay into that. Something like that would work out, would have to do some kind of a
I don't think,
management thing, just so to protect the deal with Wayne and for being the supervisor.
Mhm.
they use it, but I don't think they use it to the degree we do.
Well, we were using her basically half-time,
Yeah.
Mm.
so we could probably pick
And
up
Wayne was
more.
having a hard time getting all this stuff done with halftime.
No, so I think it makes sense. How about,
Do you want me to call Linda and set up a
do
meeting?
we need to
Yeah.
have a
David was
motion
talking
for
about
that?
August 4th, I think he said.
Oh, I haven't heard from anybody over there.
I'll make a motion, we request a meeting with the selectmen to discuss potential for creating a position.
Okay. I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Right?
And I think he was talking, just so you know, around August 4th. I don't know if that's one
Well,
of the regular
if
meetings.
you call and then just let us know.
Yeah,
When did you say, Tom? Just-
August 4th, I think he said.
Because that'd be an executive session kind of thing probably
Are
anyway.
their meetings normally on Wednesdays?
yeah.
Yeah.
They,
So that's a Wednesday, so that must be one of their regular meetings. Where do they meet, first and third,
I
selectmen?
have no idea, honestly.
That's the first Wednesday in
Yeah,
August,
it
so.
is.
And when are we meeting, that August?
Second,
Is that
meeting
Monday,
second,
the second?
ours would be Monday the second, and then.
Then
it'll be
that
Wednesday and
Wednesday?
Saturday before.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my calendar up now, so I don't.
So you have to let us know what times.
Yeah, just let us know, Karen.
Yeah, I'll email Linda, in the morning.
All right, anything else that can legally be brought up?
Do you want me to grab Wayne, see if he has anything about,
About anything else?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're done with this piece.
I thought I was gonna have supper early, but we might anyways.
So, anything else you wanna discuss?
No, other than we need it to stop raining, or we're gonna have revenue problems. I've been tracking our curves, and our curve was good, cause I have the 2019 where we didn't make it, and then 2020 where we did make it. So I could see we were doing great right up until, the second half of June, and it went the other way, and we needed to turn around. This is
What are we pumping right
Can't
now?
control the
we're
weather
down right around 500,000-600,000.
Oh my God.
in July.
Yeah, in July.
Oh my God, that's nothing.
Like you see a sunny day and suddenly you'll get an 800,000 spike, but for the most part, it's down.
So they're shut down.
Nobody can water anything unless you'll drown anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been growing mushrooms, not.
We haven't wanted anything.
And
on
they're
the
already
farm
going
this
as
year.
it is, so.
Not even the nursery. Not even the nursery, nothing. I think I watered it once.
Right. Yeah,
Once
now
or twice,
it's
it's-
gone too far.
Yeah. Well, usually when you get it swinging, you get a good swing the other way, so maybe we'll get a hot, dry spell for a while.
Yeah,
Well, we had a really dry spring, so we're getting it now.
yeah. Yeah, the problem is it's all run out. If it does, like steady rain is okay, but when you get 3 inches in a day, most of that hits the river.
Hay's
and it
growing
doesn't
like
get
crazy,
down.
but they haven't got
Yeah,
the
it
weather
doesn't
to
help
make
the
it.
wells.
No.
No heat.
Yeah, right.
The grass is growing, but
Yeah, that's the other thing. Usually by now I'm mowing 2 lawns now and it's a pain in the butt. It's a lovely thing to have a big yard, but it's, then when you have 2 big yards.
yeah. I mowed mine the other day, and usually this time of year, I could mow the whole thing with a couple of bins full. I think I had 10 of them full this year.
Oh, that's growing so fast.
Yeah, it's just so thick. It's usually like that in the spring, but not now.
Yeah.
It's
I think we're
dry.
setting a record for the amount of rain this July.
Trees.
So
Yeah, it's like
we're
9
definitely
inches.
gonna have a record, because we've already done a full month's worth for the average month of July, they said. And I think the rain we got this morning, a little bit even, was gonna be enough to go over, I think, for Boston. What they were talking about in the weather.
Gee, we had a rain the other night down in Duxbury. It was like the skies just opened up. I couldn't believe it. It was pouring. What's this hand washer on my? You trying to
Oh, so
tell
when
me
we
something?
do, so the other thing that's been affecting our getting out there for construction is it's a renewal year, so I got all our classes in, so it's all remote, so we got accused of somebody sleeping, which they weren't, because what I do is I set up my laptop so we can see it on the big screen, but they all have the iPads in front of them. So you're looking up here, and the way the iPad was,
Oh,
they thought
like-
somebody was sleeping. So you have to lean the things up so it's facing you, so that's why you see various things.
Oh, so that was just to hold the iPad up?
Yeah,
Oh. So it had nothing to do with washing your hands.
no. Not that we don't wash our hands, we do wash our hands.
So our next meeting is August 2nd, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the next one? Yeah.
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 And then we'll have a meeting, the next selectmen's meeting after that on Wednesday to discuss the other thing. All right, anything else anybody's got, they wanna bring up?
Nope.
All right.
But, well, you'll confirm that that's when they want us.
Yeah, I'll email, yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.